Polite goodbyes. Addressing people respectfully in English. Hello everyone. Welcome back to our English language learning series. Today, we're going to focus on something that might seem simple, but is actually very important when it comes to leaving a positive impression. Using appropriate titles and forms of address when saying goodbye in English. We'll discuss how you can address people respectfully and appropriately in various social contexts. Let's dive in. In English, we use specific titles and forms of address depending on the person we're speaking with. It's important to use these appropriately to show respect and courtesy. Mr. This is a title used before a surname or full name of a man. For example, goodbye, Mr. Smith. Mrs. used before a surname or full name of a married woman. For example, it was nice meeting you, Mrs. Johnson. Ms. a neutral title used before a surname or full name of a woman, regardless of her marital status. For example, have a nice day, Ms. Davis. Doctor used for both men and women who hold a doctorate degree or are medical doctors. For example, see you next week, Dr. Martin. Professor. This title is used for people who teach at a college or university. For example, thank you for the lecture, Professor Green. Remember to always use these titles when addressing people in formal situations, especially if it's the first time you're meeting them or if they're senior to you in age or position. In different English-speaking cultures, there might be slight differences in how people prefer to be addressed. In professional environments, using titles and surnames is the norm until someone invites you to use their first name. In the US, it is common to quickly shift to a first-name basis in casual or friendly environments. But in countries like the UK and Australia, it might take a little longer before people become comfortable with first names. Regardless of the culture, it's important to be attentive to cues about how to address someone. If you're unsure, it's better to err on the side of formality. In recent years, there's been a growing acceptance of gender-neutral titles in English. If you're unsure about someone's gender or if they've expressed a preference for gender-neutral language, you can use the title mix. Pronounced mix before their surname. For example, goodbye, Mix. Parker. That wraps up our discussion on using appropriate titles and forms of address when saying goodbye in English. It might seem like a small detail, but using the right title can show respect and contribute to a positive impression. Remember, the key is to be respectful and aware of the cultural context. When in doubt, it's always better to be more formal. We hope this video has been helpful to you, and we look forward to seeing you in our next session. Until then, keep practicing, and goodbye.